once again, the shroud. The shroud validates the Rastafarian claims. Now, this helps us greatly to really weigh in favor of the authenticity of the shroud. Not because we can find a direct similarity to His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, but because even the Christians in their documentary, they point out a lot of the naysaying arguments, and they basically rebut it with some scientific and other fact that also weighs in its favor. So with all of that concerning, so like we always said, the shroud issue, fact or fiction, you know, that's still a big discussion. But what we're saying is that as the Lion Jew Society and I as Wendam Yadino, Ras Yadinos Tefari, is that the shroud, it actually validates the basic claims of Rastafari. I mean, and of course we don't base our faith on the shroud. You know what I'm saying? But what we say is that the evidence that we find in the Shroud of Turin, seeing that the Bible teaches that Jesus the Son, or Yeshua the Son, is the expressed image of the Father. That's what the Bible teaches, that Jesus Christos, Jesus the Son, is the expressed image of God the Father. Another interesting thing when you look at the shroud, there's this V thing going on right here. We want to point that out. There's this V thing going on near the center of the picture. Now, of course, in the shroud image, the hands are folded, as you see right here. The hands are folded. But if you notice something right here, you might notice that there's this kind of, if you look at it from a certain distance, it's almost like when you look at the shroud image, if you would make it a little bit smaller, right, and put it like this right here, it's almost as though in the center he is doing this Trinity type of hand sign that His Majesty is doing. That's just that's not our major point, but that's just make it a footnote. That's a footnote right there. And so now, within the remaining time that we have in this, what you call them, let us show you this right here, and we'll narrate it since, okay, we have to narrate it. We didn't ascribe any sound to this just as of yet. So now what you see right here is some basic images right here. We're gonna probably add sound to this, no doubt. Now, what we did was we selected, of course, this is the few images that we have of the Shroud of Turin right here. All right. They say it's a Caucasian man, Caucasian male. We have the video where they say it's Caucasian male. But then, note, they also call the Ethiopians Caucasians. This is His Majesty, where we sought to layer it to point out the certain points of congruence or similarity in the basic features. Now, as we went forward, we're going to have a clearer demonstration for you. So they call the Ethiopians are called Europeans by the European scientific so forth and so on. Now, it's not because Ethiopians come from Europeans, but actually the Europeans come from the ancient Ethiopian people, since white comes out of black. Now, this was an interesting fade over right here. Did you get this right here? Did you get this one right here? Now, notice the face. Notice the main points of similarity. Notice for a moment, if we take it right here, you can see the face, the nose, the eyes, the cheekbones in particular, the mustache, and the hairline. As we fade it more, you see it right there? You see it right there? Do you see it? You see it right there? I mean, even when you can see the whole shroud, you can see even the shoulder position. You understand? The shoulder position is almost exact. See, when they say that the shroud is a Caucasian male, like I said, there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there, because we have 400 plus years of this whitewashing, this turn all fake. White people trying these games. But now, look at this. Do you see that right there? Let's back it up once again. You see how we start to actually sharpen it up a little bit? And you can see right here as we move from this one into this one, right? Into this one. And now scientifically, at that point right there, that's a good point right there. That's a good point right there, because you can see we have both of them accurately lined up, the lights and the darks, accurately lined up. You understand? It's almost like the shroud is looking at you in a sense. And you see the mustache is similar. And let's just fade it back. Let's just fade it back a little. Now this is going from shroud to His Majesty, right? Going from shroud to His Majesty. You see the shoulders, the shoulder point. Now as we go forward even further, we're going to go from now the shroud to His Majesty this way. Now notice. You see how clearly the nose, the eyes. Now it was easy for them to say, oh, it's a European. You understand? Or rather, they didn't say European, but they say a Caucasian. But then they call the Ethiopians Caucasians and Aryans too. Because they say, look, well, they have white features, whatever like that. But really, white people got Ethiopian features. This is the proper way to present it. Now you see how we are going from one image to the next image. You see the shoulder. You can even see the beard. It's like if His Majesty grew along the beard, then you can see the beard. You can see the beard line. You can see the lip line. You can see the nose line. You can see the cheek line. You can see the eye line. You can see the nose the same way. You can even see how the hair, the hair just goes from afro to the dreadlocks, so like the Abba Caduce image. So once again, we have a reference point right there. So this is why we are saying that the Shroud of Turin, from a Christian perspective, based on the arguments that have been made and the counter arguments who said all sort of things to dismiss the Shroud evidence, the Christians win the scientific argument, because people who have said, well, it's not for many reasons. For many years, a lot of these reasons seem to be the case, and then sufficient evidence was brought out to explain some of the so-called Shroud anomalies, the Shroud of Turin anomalies. But now as we look at the Christians winning the argument vis-a-vis the atheists or the agnostics or whatever concerned, and the scientists concerning the Shroud of Turin, what we find to be most interesting is basically the fact, let's continue this going, is the fact that when we now examine, based on the evidence that we have available to us, which is this sort of evidence from the pictures. Now here again is a soft, we call this a soft blend. What you're going to see is a soft blend from a picture of His Majesty to the Shroud of Turin face image. And you can see it right there. If we pause it right there, you can see how the nose is coming in like it's his own face, like it's his own nose. The only difference, even the forehead, the margin from the eyebrow to the forehead is the same. The only difference is His Majesty has what they would call an afro here, or the Ethiopian style afro, instead of the Bahitawi style dreads or locks. And so as we fade it more, you can see it coming more right here. You know, so we see both the image of the Son and the image of the Father in the Shroud of Turin image. I mean, even some of the other lines around the face, you know what I mean, are age lines is also significant. It's very, you remember when they crucified Christ and they said that after the resurrection, some did not really immediately know Him. It's like you know somebody, but maybe they aged, maybe they, you know, and crucifixion, wow, what a stressful, you think you got stressed, I think I got stressed. The crucifixion, that's some real stress. Now as you go further in, you can see how it fades over, even to the shroud almost looks right here. You see at this point, the shroud looks right here like he's wearing the suit, he's wearing the uniform. The person in the shroud is wearing the uniform. And in a sense, the person in the shroud is wearing the uniform. So this is our first vid in this particular series, and once again it's another fade just so you can get used to it and say, okay, dismiss it if you would like. It's clear this is the features of His Imperial Majesty. It's clear he's an Ethiopian. He's a black man. From his woolly hair, You understand? His woolly hair, his brass as burned in the fire, complexion, so forth and so on. So this is our presentation, brothers and sisters and others. I'd like to hear your comments about this, or anything, any additions, any other revelations concerning the King of Kings and his Christ. So Shalom Rastafari.
Sow good seeds and reap good fruits from our garden. Yeah. Sow good seeds and reap good thoughts from our mind. Say we're gonna sow good seed and reap good thoughts from our garden. Yeah. Sow good seeds and reap good thoughts from our mind.
Tumultuous welcome ever given to any visiting or local celebrity, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, Emperor of Ethiopia, arrived. The crowd erupted into a frenzy of rejoicing as they broke through the lines of soldiers and police and surged out onto the tarmac, eager to engulf the emperor with their affection. On the eastern side of Africa has been governed since 1930 by Haile Selassie, whom history records as being a direct descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
Shalom Rastafari. This is Wendon Yarden once again.